Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Dunce Piece by the Mangaki no Tsukai boys. I'm your host, Adam, and with me, as always, is the living Daizenshu, Jesse.
Oh my god, what an honor.
And the reincarnation of Qin Shi Huang, Evan.
That's what they call me.
How we doing today, fellas?
I'm so good. I'm over here giggling already.
Oh,
Ready to
let's
get
go.
this thing going.
Man, I'm doing pretty well too. I just got home from a buffet and I am stuffed like a pregnant woman.
Oh my gosh.
Full of shit.
Oh my god.
Oh my god.
Get that man to the bathroom.
Is that what women are filled with?
Yes, that's what happens.
Right.
But yeah, I mean, I'm recording currently from my bathtub. I've got my clothes off. I don't have to poop just yet, but I'm so full that I can't breathe. So,
Well,
What'd you eat, Evan? Tell me what you ate.
oh well, I'm the type of person that goes to a Chinese buffet and gets the pizza. So I had a little bit of pizza, some lo mein. I know we're fucking already getting off track, but I go to this place because it's called Ruby's Cajun Buffet, right? I was like, oh, I've never been to a Cajun buffet before, and I walk in, and it's just a Chinese buffet with like one section that has like crawfish in it.
That's a normal Chinese buffet, I think.
I don't know, but
they got rid of the Mongolian barbecue section and put that one in there, right?
Yeah.
I mean, it was still pretty good. They had really good ice cream. But like I said, I'm so full I can barely breathe, and I am naked in my bathtub right now, trying to calm myself down.
I got two questions for you. Did they have sushi?
They did have sushi. I didn't have any though.
Okay. And did you like it more than Fortune Buffet?
I'm gonna say no, I didn't.
Okay, all right, nice.
Fortune Buffet is pretty good.
Glad to see Fortune Buffet
Buffet
holds up.
Yeah, Fortune Buffet. I mean, for all of those listening, is from our hometown is the premier Chinese buffet. Yeah, no, I don't think it holds up.
Awesome. Glad to know that we have the better Chinese buffet.
Mhm.
Evan is the type of guy who goes to the Chinese buffet for pizza and the ice cream.
Well, I was hoping for like some snow crab legs and shit, but nope.
Ooh.
I'm also the kind of guy that goes to a Chinese buffet and gets the chocolate pudding.
Yes, every time I go, I have to end with a plate of chocolate pudding.
Yeah.
I don't know why.
I remember when I was like a young kid, I would go there and get literally an entire plate of chocolate pudding, and be regretting that shit pretty hard.
Right, eat like 4 spoonfuls. You're like, I'm done, and the waiters come around. They go, we fucking hate you, white people, man. You fucking waste so much fucking food. God damn.
All you did was put the honeydew and the Jello cubes into the chocolate pudding. You fucking.
We can't even eat the leftovers because you fucked it.
I gotta say, before we move on, I never ever do the Mongolian barbecue thing, and I always regret never doing it.
Yeah, that's definitely a misplay, man, because that shit is yummy.
Yeah, I would say
It
the
is.
Mongolian barbecue is pretty good. The noodles, the meats, the man cooks it in front of you.
He
I'm
rides his
missing out.
horse from east to west.
Well, this was a good way to start off an arc about, or to finish an arc about food. So
Yeah.
Very true.
I didn't even think of that. Wow.
I did. I thought
Oh.
of that.
all right, Jesse, big brain.
Yeah.
Big brain Jesse. All right, let's get into it, guys. Today we're finishing the Baratie Arc, and just as a quick recap, the Don Creek Pirates are currently fighting Sanji, Luffy, and the chefs. And meanwhile, Zoro, Usopp, Johnny, and Yusaku are chasing Nami, who stole the Going Merry, and is heading off to who knows where. I mean, some of us know. Actually, all 3 of us know, but maybe the listeners don't know.
I
All right.
don't know.
Well, Jesse apparently doesn't know, I guess. All right, here we go. Chapter 56. Jin's holding Chef Zeph at gunpoint, and he tells Sanji that he wants to save Zeph. That if he wants to save Zeph, he needs to leave the ship.
Whoa. We're just going to skip over the buffalo smoking a blunt?
I can certainly show that off.
Sorry.
I was
Maybe-
only going to bring up because I always bring up every cover panel. I was just gonna stick to ones that were story relevant, but this is a very good fucking cover panel.
I have to say that the cover panels in this chunk of chapters we're covering were all pretty great.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I will be the first person to say, before Adam does, that I always enjoy Oda's title pages.
I was literally going to say that, so
Mhm.
glad you covered all my bases there, bud. Okay, now that we've talked about blunts and buffaloes, like I said, Jin's holding Chef Zeph at gunpoint, and Sanji, tells Sanji if he wants to save Zeph, he needs to leave the ship so that the Dawn Creek pirates can steal it. Meanwhile, while this is happening, Pearl takes the opportunity to attack Sanji with his special ultra natural pearl present. Wow, whoever's Evan, you need to fix your echo.
Sorry, can you hear me?
Yes, I was just
Okay,
echoing
got it.
through you.
How about
Okay,
now?
you're good. Totally fine now, buddy.
Sorry about that. Sorry, folks.
That's all right.
Evan, I'm gonna give you a fucking natural pearl present. next time I see you.
Hey man, go a little easy on me. I might die in this recording session.
It's possible.
Yeah, that's
If you
just
punch him
Evan
in the
giving
stomach,
birth.
yeah, I was gonna say you might force a birth on the man.
No, no.
So Luffy goes to attack Pearl after he attacks Sanji, but Sanji tells him to stop because obviously Zeph is being held at gunpoint. And Zeph tells Gin, he can't accept his terms to leave the ship, and Sanji says it's because the Baratie is Zeph's treasure, which shocks the other chefs because they always just thought that Sanji hated Zeph, which I think we all will learn to find out is not the case. Sanji says, he's the reason that Zeph lost everything. He lost his strength and his dreams and his leg. And he doesn't want him to lose his only treasure, which is the Baratie. Pearl once again takes this opportunity to attack Sanji with his Pearl Close attack. Pearl has horrible names for his attack.
For real.
Just bad names.
Is that like a pun or something? Pearl Close? I don't know. Probably not.
Or
Bad
clothes? Is
name.
it maybe just clothes? Can I be honest
yeah, maybe
with
it's
you guys, though?
Pearl Close. Yeah, go ahead. What's up?
Yeah.
I thought it said closet.
Oh,
the,
because of the
exclamation
exclamation.
point.
Yeah, I can see
And
that.
I was like, oh, he's shutting the closet doors. I actually wrote it in my notes because I thought it was kind of funny, but now it's stupid. I hate it.
It's a little goofy. So after he hits Sanji with that, he jumps into the air and uses his tarnished silver present. Why is everything present or closed with this guy? Or, like, horrible, just horrible. And he lands directly on Sanji, as we can see on page 15. And now we start going into a flashback with some pretty important stuff. So we find out this flashback takes place years and years ago when Sanji was a kid and he was working as a apprentice chef on a passenger ship called the Orbit. And he's talking with the other chefs in the kitchen about All Blue, and the chefs don't really believe All Blue exists, and Sanji says it's his dream to find it. And for anybody that doesn't know, All Blue is supposedly this sea of legend where all of the sea's fish, like all the fish you would find that are supposed to be in certain parts of the sea, all come together and meet in this one area, and it's called All Blue.
Cool name.
Yeah, really
Yeah.
cool. Yeah.
Can I throw a theory out there? I mean,
Shoot.
I don't know any theories about All Blue, but assumedly it'd have to be like underneath the Grand Line, right? Or I'm sorry, the Red Line. Right?
Oh, I never really considered that. That theory makes a little bit more sense thinking about like Fishman Island and how people get there.
Right.
Hmm.
Yeah, I've never really given it much thought. I assume we'll get some closure on it before One Piece ends, right?
Oh, 1,000%. I hope so, at least.
Yeah, I would hope so.
I mean, considering it's one of the main motivations of one of the main characters,
Right, exactly. So yeah,
Yeah. Yeah, like I said, I don't know anything really about theories about all blue, but it would have to be underneath the red line. Otherwise, it just doesn't make any fucking sense.
Yeah.
Anyway,
I never honestly. I would say after this arc, they mention it maybe a handful of times throughout One Piece. After this, maybe. And I never really gave it much thought. So. There was actually another theory that I'll bring up that I disproved myself, but when we get there, we'll get there. Not a theory that someone else came up with. I came up with this while reading something, and then I was like, no, I don't think that makes sense. But we'll get to it.
Gotcha. Okay, cool.
All right, so we see on page 20, Sanji throwing out some leftovers, which is a bit odd for his character. As we know, he is not a fan of people wasting food. And telling the other chefs, don't eat the leftovers. And then we see on page 21, Red Leg Zeph and his pirate crew shows up to attack the orbit.
Yeah, I got a shout out too on page 21. We see the front head or whatever this thing is called on the orbit, and it's just a bottle of wine. It's pretty nice.
That is
what is this thing called? The front mast thing. It's not a mast. We always misremember this thing's name.
It's on page 21.
Yeah,
yes.
Like a figurehead. Yeah, the bottom right of page 21.
Bro,
At least on the one that I'm looking at.
I don't think you're looking at the right one. Bottom right. The only panel on the bottom page of 21 is Red Leg Zeph standing on a
page
ship.
before
Okay.
that. That's page 22. He's talking about the page right before that.
You guys are on the wrong. I'm using version rock, by the way.
I think I'm getting it wrong.
Page 20 is what you're referring to for me.
Gotcha. I think I'm on the updated thing. So
Gotcha. That's probably why. All right. Yeah, there is a name for that. I don't remember what it's called. If one of you wants to look it up, and then just
figurehead.
There you go. That's on the orbit. That was on the orbit.
Yeah, it's like a wine bottle.
Gotcha. Very
Pretty
interesting.
classy.
Very interesting. Well, yeah, I think the orbit is supposed to be like more of a cruise ship. It's called a passenger ship, but I think it's supposed to be like a cruise ship, or at least like a luxury ship for rich people.
For sure.
All right, so chapter 57, we get a cool starting panel, which we see Kabaji and Mochi fighting to decide who will be the next captain of the buggy crew. Pretty interesting. And on page 2, we get to see Red Leg Zeph's ship. The name of his pirate crew is the Cook Pirates, and the name of the ship is the Cooking George.
His Jolly Roger's hilarious.
Yeah, his Jolly Roger's great. The fucking duck with a chef hat, that's awesome.
Mm-hmm.
I did look into the Cooking George. Not a lot of information on it. I think there might be in like one of the books a little bit more information on it, but nothing like as far as inspiration on the wiki or anything like that. All right, so the Zeph pirates start to loot the entire ship, and Zeph asks one of his crew members, "What's this?" And on page 5, I guess he looked inside one of a bag of treasure, and he saw that his crew member had stolen food from the passengers. So Zeph kind of sends him reeling, launches him, and he says, you shouldn't be stealing people's food. Sanji shows up to defend himself, and Zeph takes him out with a swift kick. And Sanji says, he won't die until he finds all blue, which I think piques Zeph's interest a little bit. And the pirates laugh at him when all of a sudden a huge wave crashes onto the ship and knocks Sanji overboard. And on page 11, we can see Zeph jumps into action, destroys a mast, and uses it to float in the water and try to save Sanji. But both the Orbit and the Cooking George end up getting swallowed by the sea, it would appear. We see the next day, I would guess, there's a huge rock in the middle of the ocean where Zeph managed to get to with Sanji, and Zeph explains that they're stranded and then waiting for help is their only option. Zeph gives Sanji a small bag of food and says to ration the food Normally, it would last you 5 days, but try to obviously make that last longer. Sanji's mad that Zeph has a bigger bag of food, but Zeph says, he's an adult. He obviously needs more food. And Zeph and Sanji separate to either side of the rock. That way they can see if a ship is passing on either side. And on page 19, Zeph pulls 127 hours later and cuts his leg off with a rock, which is pretty fucked.
Oh,
I was talking to my girlfriend about this. I completely fucking forgot that's how Zeph lost his leg.
Me too.
I didn't even.
Oh, wow.
I didn't even remember that we had a flat all this shit happened.
Oh no, I remember this. I just assumed because like I said, I haven't read the beginning stuff in a long time. I just was assuming that his leg was lost in the wreckage. But yeah, this is pretty brutal. It's pretty hardcore.
Yeah, I mean,
yeah.
and just the way his foot is drawn when he's bashing it with the boulder.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Give
Oh,
me
yeah.
the heebie-jeebies.
Definitely fucked up, but we will find out why that is. All right, chapter 58. We again get another continuation. Pretty crazy. We're already on volume 17 of this side story.
That's strange.
Very strange. I think this is one of the longer ones for sure, but there's a couple that are pretty long like this. And we can see that they've been fighting for 12 hours straight.
Yeah, I love the dream.
yeah, of Richie becoming the captain. Very funny.
Yeah, I love Richie in the actual story versus on the cover stories. He's like a completely different character.
Oh yeah, absolutely. All right, so Sanji believes he can ration his food for 20 days, but even on the first day, that proves a bit tough. On the 5th day, Sanji spots a boat, and Zeph tells him, if you see a boat, fucking call me, but he can't. He tries to light he doesn't call Zeph, and he tries to light a fire, but it's fucking pouring, and the wood's all wet, and it just doesn't happen. On page 20, I'm sorry, I almost said page 28. On page 8, we see that it's been 25 days, and Sanji's starting to look a little bit rough. And Sanji says, he only has a piece of moldy bread left, and he recalls the conversation he had with the chefs about not eating leftovers. And then he accidentally drops that piece of bread into the ocean, which definitely not getting back.
I was really sad, that scene of him crying, thinking about the chefs.
Right.
More than likely dead.
Oh, yeah. I would assume everybody's dead, right? They're all definitely dead.
Definitely.
And on page 10, we see, one panel says the 30th day, the 50th day, the 70th day, and we see at the bottom, Sanji is starting to look a bit emaciated.
Oh, yeah.
So Sanji goes, Sanji knows that Chef Zeph had a big bag of food, and he goes to see if Zeph's alive, and he, has a knife with him, and he decides he's going to steal food. So Sanji walks over to them. Sanji cuts the bag open and sees that it's not food. It's actually just a bag of treasure. And Zeph is a skeleton of his former self. I mean, Sanji looks bad. Zeph looks fucking bad.
Yeah, look at his chest on page 14.
Yeah. 13?
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to assume...
No, 14. I'm on your version.
Oh, okay. Yeah. I mean, he is a skeleton. And, Sanji realizes that Zeph gave him all the food and he ate his own leg to survive. And I'm not going to lie, got a little choked up reading this. Pretty sad and very respectable of Chef Zeph, who all of this only because Sanji wants to find All Blue. All of it because of that. I think Zeph's a good person. I don't know if he would have risked his life to save Sanji otherwise.
Well, doesn't he say that it was also his dream as well?
Right. Zeph even says All Blue exists, and if they should survive, Sanji should go to the Grand Line and find it. That's what Zeph says to him.
Yeah.
Zeph fully believes that All Blue exists. He just wasn't able to find it. We also find out that if Zeph was to survive, he wants to open up a restaurant on the seas. And the chapter ends with the flashback ending and Sanji saying he's going to save Zeph and the Baratie. Because obviously we now know what they went through and why the Baratie is his treasure.
Amazing
So
shit.
this makes me want to ask you guys, if you were stranded like this and you had to eat a part of yourself, what part would you eat? I can go
Probably
first.
probably my stomach because it's filled with all my food.
You know what? I was actually also going to say my stomach because it's the biggest part of me, and there's the most fat and stuff. So
That makes sense.
kill two birds with one stone.
I would say probably probably my leg, just because of how good prosthetics are nowadays. So,
That's a fair point.
I would just eat my prosthetic leg.
Yep.
Actually, because of how good they are these days. And do you guys think that?
Shut up, Jesse.
Do you guys think that Zeph just like took a bite every day for like 50 days?
I think he rationed it.
Yeah, he didn't cut off any other parts of his body, not even a finger. So.
Right. I would assume he rationed it the best he could. Even ate it while it was fucking rotting on the 30th day or whatever.
Ugh.
Right. Can only imagine having to fucking deal with that. Gross. All right, chapter 59, we get a continuation of the cover story, and we see that while he was sleepwalking and dreaming of fighting what looks like a dragon, Richie has defeated both Cabbagey and Mochi.
We've got a new captain, guys.
Yes. So the beginning of this chapter is mostly a recap of the flashback, and Sanji's saying he's going to protect Zeph and the ship. And meanwhile, Pearl just continues to beat up Sanji. Luffy eventually gets fed up and uses his Gumu Gumu no X on page 9 and 10.
Oh, yeah.
And he uses it to destroy the fin of the Baratie, mostly because it's on fire, and if they don't put the fire out, the whole Baratie is gonna, burn to the ground, right?
Makes sense.
Dude, we should have used page 10 as the thumbnail and just made this huge splash of water a dunce cap. And even made it say dunce cap.
That's goofy.
That's a really good one, Jess.
So Sanji obviously gets mad at him and says, "Don't destroy this ship." And Luffy claps back with, "You won't be repaying any debt by dying, and dying is not why Zeph risked his life." And on page 15, we also see Luffy thinking about the time when Shanks gave up his arm for him.
Yeah, that was great.
Right. I didn't even think about that while I was reading the flashback either.
All the parallels.
Right. I didn't even consider that.
Yeah, not gonna lie, I didn't either.
So Pearl goes to attack both Sanji and Luffy while they argue. But on page 17, Jin just destroys Pearl in his armor. Just completely destroys it. Like, breaks it right through the center.
This kind of comes out of nowhere, right? Like, I'm
Yeah.
not forgetting everything.
No, Jin was absolutely holding Zeph at gunpoint and then just decided, you know what? I'm going to take matters into my own hands and takes Pearl out.
But not even like that, like the power level of Jin, I mean.
Yes, kind of.
Like, he was kind of being deceitful about how strong he was.
Yeah, I think Jin's a lot stronger than what he let up. Jin is very strong. Jin's a really cool character. I really like Jin as a character.
I do too.
There's one point where I'll get to it later, but I really hope Jin and Don Krieg both are recurring characters. Yeah. So Krieg thinks Jin's betraying him, but Jin says, he wants to destroy Sanji and Luffy. And at the end of this chapter, we find out that Jin is actually the battle commander, the fleet's battle commander of the Don Krieg pirates.
So it's revealed at the end of this chapter.
Right. We find out that
later.
Yeah, he's pretty much, Don Krieg's right-hand man. He's his Zoro or whatever, right?
He's a demon.
He is a demon. Chapter 60, we see that the cover panel is another continuation and the formation of the Richie pirates, and Richie has no idea why, which is funny. They even make him a Jolly Roger.
That's an awesome Jolly Roger.
Yeah, that one's great. And we can see,
Congratulations, Richie.
yeah, and we can see Kabuji and Mochi just, their faces completely swollen after getting beaten up.
Just savaged.
Yeah. So, chapter 60, Jin says, he has to kill Sanji, and Sanji replies with the classy "eat shit and die."
Now kindly.
Right. Now kindly eat shit and die. Jin, also says to Luffy he should have left with his crew, and Luffy says, it's not like I could be beaten by weaklings like you and Don Krieg. And Don Krieg then asks Luffy, who does Luffy think is more suited to become Pirate King, him or Don Krieg? And obviously Luffy's gonna say himself. I don't even know what kind of fucking question that was.
Yeah, right. I'm just picturing. I'm just picturing in the anime. Ore!
Absolutely. He answered it like that, so absolutely.
It has to be. I'm gonna look it up after this episode. Figure this out.
Obviously that answer pisses off Don Krieg, and he prepares to use his MH5 weapon, which turns out to be a poison gas bomb that he fires from his shield. The shield's a pretty cool weapon. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah.
Very, very interesting weapon.
You know what this reminded me of, actually?
What's that?
The boom hammer from Bloodborne.
Oh, nice. I didn't even think about that.
It's the first thing that came to mind when I saw this.
Very cool. Yeah, I didn't even think about that. That's actually really cool. So on page 11, we see that Don Krieg's boys all have gas masks, so this must be a normal thing for them. And Don Krieg launches his poison gas bomb, and Luffy, is gonna go up to it and deflect it, but actually, it was a trap, and it was just an exploding shuriken bomb, which is pretty cool. Don Krieg has a lot of interesting weapons.
Yeah, I thought this was really great, honestly. This whole fight, but especially how he pulls one over on Luffy.
Yeah,
a few times, but
yeah.
This is the foreshadowing that this is probably going to be Luffy's toughest fight yet.
Yeah, I know Don Krieg is kind of portrayed as a bit of a, I wouldn't say coward, but a deceitful fighter. But he's pretty fucking powerful, as we know, and I think he is smart about it. He doesn't fall into the typical, now I'm gonna use my special cannon, and then does that, He fucking lies about it, which is great.
Yeah.
Which is why I think Don Krieg is actually a really good villain.
We need more of that in shonen.
Right. We need to stop announcing everything. Stop announcing everything. Just do it. Just attack him. You can say
do it, Pearl.
You could say your special move. Go for it. Just don't tell them what it does beforehand. Yeah. So Krieg then explains, why waste a poison gas bomb, which he also says would level a town, on two pirates, on people like Luffy and Sanji. And Luffy replies with, I see. He got me good. Nonchalantly. And then Krieg asks him again, about who should be Pirate King, and once again Luffy says him, and obviously pisses off Krieg again. And Krieg tells Jin, take care of Sanji, I'm gonna take care of this monkey. And the chapter ends with Jin saying his nickname is Demon, which isn't the best nickname, but it's cool. It fits his character for sure.
Yeah. Can I just say too, I really like his weapons.
Yes, I was going to talk about them. Yeah.
Tonfa with prison balls at the end of them.
I originally called them Tonfas with cannonballs at the end, but then I was like, well, they don't explode. So they're like Tonfa maces. They're really cool. They're very, very unique. Definitely not something that we see throughout the rest of One Piece.
Adam.
Yes.
I don't think cannonballs are actually meant to explode. I think they explode when they hit hard surfaces.
Oh.
But I don't think they're meant to explode. I think they're just meant to create a hole in a body.
Oh, okay. I didn't know. I assumed they were just packed with gunpowder and on collision would explode.
Yeah, I think the idea too is that they roll along and they'll keep tripping people, breaking legs off and shit.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
I think, and there were definitely like shrapnel cannonballs, but like standard cannonballs, yeah, are just solid hunks.
Gotcha.
But how fucking dare you?
I'm so sorry. How could
They're
I be
clearly-
leading the manga about pirates and not even know anything about cannonballs? Gosh.
They're clearly fucking prison balls from like 1930s
Oh yeah.
jails.
Obviously, that makes more sense. Duh.
He was in a chain gang.
Right. Oh, he's kind of got the headband that would make you think he was in a chain gang, right? It's got the stripes and such.
He's got that prisoner look going on. He's even got the jumpsuit orange shirt.
Yeah. Okay. So
Breaking rocks all day, every day for no reason.
And
chains on your leg.
And technically,
Is that SpongeBob?
No, it's Prison Mike.
Oh, okay, yeah, okay.
Of course it is. He was in prison right before this arc started as well, so it checks out. Everything checks out.
It does.
So yeah, I like this move that he has. He's just like straight up using the weight of his tonfa to hold Sanji. There is a lot of fighting in this chapter, so it's gonna go by pretty quick. We start off with a lot of fighting between Jin and Sanji, and it's pretty back and forth. But Sanji lands an uppercut with his foot, an uppercut kick, and Jin counters with a blow to Sanji with his tonfa maces. We then get some dialogue from Don Krieg about how Jin is a demon and he's about to show his true abilities, and we haven't really seen what Jin has to offer yet. On page 10, we get to see Don Krieg's weapon a bit more. Don Krieg throws some bombs. Luffy goes to charge him, and Don Krieg throws some bombs in the water to make like a screen of water, and shoots these spear bullets at Luffy. And one of them catches Luffy in the leg on page 11. Which is, again, another cool thing I like about Don Krieg. He uses Luffy's weakness against him. Not many people actually do this or are able to pull it off.
Absolutely.
How many times do we see people stabbing or cutting Luffy? Not very often.
Well, even besides that, the usage of water,
right?
He's a devil fruit user,
right?
And I mean, I guess most of the enemies that they fight are also weak to the ocean. But I feel like that's something that a lot of people could use in the world of One Piece that they kind of just don't. You know?
Right? Yeah, they get to a certain
later on.
Right. I was gonna say later on, I feel like the ocean becomes less of a detriment, and we switch over to sea stone being more of a detriment.
Right.
You know.
Yeah, you're absolutely correct on that one.
But yeah, sure. I really like this. I really like Don Krieg as a villain. He's like a truly good villain. He knows how. Like, he's villainous. He's not going to play by the rules. He's not going to give you a fair fight, and he's going to use all of your weaknesses against you. Like, that's a great villain. That's a really good villain. And he's just like inherently a bad guy. Like, you don't want to like Don Krieg, you know. So we pan back over to Sanji and Jin, and we see Sanji's on the ground, and Jin's weapon is dripping blood. Obviously, he's been beating up Sanji a bit, and I can imagine Sanji's got probably a few broken ribs at this point.
Want to cook those up, Sanji?
Yummy. Jin goes in to finish Sanji, but Sanji, it seems like he goes to finish Sanji, but it seems like he like deliberately doesn't do it, right? And lets Sanji land a swift kick to his head on page 15. Because I don't think Jin actually wants to kill Sanji.
No, definitely not.
Right. So Jin gets up, grabs Sanji by his neck, and to finish him, but we can see Jin crying, and he tells Don Krieg, I can't kill him because nobody's ever treated me this kindly before. No one's ever even treated him kindly before. We don't get Jin's backstory, but I'm sure it's a sad one.
Yeah, definitely. He doesn't seem like he's in good shape.
Right.
But he's a good guy, though.
He seems like such a good guy. And obviously has some morals because he's not going to kill the guy that literally saved his life. But yeah, Jin's a great character. This is really why I hope we get a reoccurrence of him later.
Yeah, I would say that even like when he brought Don Krieg back, I don't think he genuinely expected Don Krieg to attack the restaurant. You know?
Right.
No, definitely not.
So chapter 62, we get introduced to the Kumite tribe.
Kumite?
I don't know if it's Kumite or Kumat, or we'll go with Kumite, sure. The Kumite tribe, which are the natives of the island that the buggy crew has landed on.
Hold the fucking phone. That the markings on the back of their hands look like Bartholomew Kuma's.
And that's where my theory came into mind, but I will answer that when we get to it.
Oh, damn, I'm sorry. I jumped the gun.
Yeah, just a little bit. I actually didn't notice this on their hands, which is why I wasn't going to bring it up this early. But yes, it does remind me of Kuma's his powers. And I mean, even their name is Kumate.
Yeah, I think that means bear.
It does.
Kuma.
It does.
Yeah.
Which is why I thought maybe Bartholomew Kuma was a part of this tribe, but I don't think he is. The reason I don't think so is because all of the Kumite tribe have the same exact nose, and Bartholomew Kuma doesn't have that nose. Also, on the wiki, that logo, that symbol of theirs, is supposed to represent a bear's paw, but what we will find out later is that this tribe is cannibals, and that's also supposed to represent people cooking in a pot.
Oh.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah.
What the fuck?
Right. So
what a weird symbol for something so specific.
Right. Right. Again, that's what I read on the wiki. I don't know how official that is. It could be from like a logbook or like one of the Daisen Shu of One Piece.
Yeah.
But
I'm sure that's not just something someone randomly just put up.
No,
there.
I would assume that came from some actual source.
No, I would have never done that randomly.
No?
No, I would never do that.
Thanks, Jesse. Thanks for confirming that for us.
Well,
yeah.
The Richie Pirates made a mistake going to Papua New Guinea.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, too bad. Too bad for them. All right. Yeah, chapter 62. Looks like, I already said that. Jin tells Don Krieg.
It's okay, buddy.
Jin tells Don Krieg he has no intentions of betraying him, but he pleads to let the ship go, which obviously infuriates Don Krieg, and he prepares to launch his MH5 gas bomb. But before doing that, he tells Jin to throw his gas mask away because he is no longer a part of the Krieg pirates.
Yeah, I thought that was pretty funny.
Right.
Throw it away. You have to. I'm telling you. You're not my subordinate anymore. But throw it away.
Like, wouldn't it have been easier for him to be like, "All right, hey, Jin, throw away your mask. Now you're not part of my crew."
Yeah. Or be like, "Hey, this is gonna be a shuriken bomb. Definitely don't need a gas mask."
We do find out that the reason for this is because Jin is obviously very loyal to the Don and the crew. And we find out. Excuse me. Oh my gosh. We find out that the reason that Jin was even captured by somebody like Full Body, who is definitely not as strong as Jin, was because Jin disguised himself as Don Krieg and lured them away in a different boat when they came back from the Grand Line and they were all fucked up. Luffy once again tries to go after Don Krieg, but is again, pushed away by the spear bullets. On page 12, we can see Jin throwing away, Don Krieg launching his MH5 bomb, and Jin did.
Page.
Yeah, this is really cool. I like that. It's kind of weird, but Don Krieg kind of looks like a fucking monster with his mouth like that.
Dude, I wasn't gonna say because I didn't want to like derail you, but look at his fucking mouth.
I know. So yeah, Jin did throw away his gas mask, and on page 13, Luffy actually, before the bomb explodes, grabs two of the gas masks off of two Krieg pirates and throws them over to Jin and Sanji. Which didn't make a lot of sense to me. I feel like it would have made more sense to throw one over there and then Luffy take one, and then like Jin or Sanji just like dives into the ocean and swims away or
Yeah.
something. But obviously,
Yeah.
you know, things probably happen much faster than what I'm, you know, we're working on anime and manga time, so everything's 5 times longer than it actually is.
Mm-hmm.
Luffy then realizes he doesn't have a fucking gas mask and panics.
This
Yeah.
page is awesome. Both Luffy's face when he's panicking, and also Don Krieg's gas mask is pretty cool.
Right,
Yes.
yeah, his golden gas mask, yeah.
This is might.
Yeah,
But, like,
that's
look at
also
Luffy's
cool.
face.
Right, Luffy's hilarious. And he does see that there's a gas mask laying next to him. And on page 18, we can see, you know, Jin holding a gas mask onto Sanji to make sure that he doesn't get poisoned.
Yeah, that's pretty great. And one thing I want to say real quick about just the artwork, I know it's something that's pretty basic, and maybe it's like a little more exaggerated here in the colored version, but I just thought all the smoke looked really great over these couple of pages.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah,
Hard agree.
if we go back one page, we can see all this cool smoke. I think even one page on 16, yeah, 16 has a lot of really cool smoke all over the place.
Yeah, how it's like floating away from the ship.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, they even say it takes like a full 5 minutes for all of the gas that's already out in the open air to dissipate.
And they're like, "Oh yeah, pirates using poison gas? That's unheard of."
Right.
Really though? Really though?
Right.
Are you sure about that?
On page 17, there's a silhouette. Like you could finally see the silhouette as the smoke is clearing, and it's fucking perfect Cell. I did not expect to see that.
Shut up, Jesse. Yeah, and the chapter ends. You know, obviously Jin is now poisoned, and the chapter ends with Don Krieg mocking Jin and Luffy becoming, you know, pretty pissed off about that. Luffy is definitely someone who hates it when a captain treats his crew poorly.
Oh yeah, that's one of his serious like pet peeves.
Right.
And when he
Luffy's-
gets pissed off about it and like does something about it, it's some of the best pieces of One Piece ever.
Absolutely.
Yeah, his mouth doesn't even fit in this panel here. He's just really screaming.
A good
He
panel.
looks like Gold Roger in this panel.
Yeah, absolutely. Wonder what that's
Well,
about.
they are brothers.
Yeah. They're 20 years apart. Dragon is both of their fathers. Sorry, spoiled it for everybody, but
Spoiled it.
uh,
Prison Mike.
nice, Jesse. I haven't read the newest chapters of One Piece, but I hear they're fucking bangers.
Dude. Oh,
Dude, you
fuck.
gotta catch up, man.
I know.
Yeah, you really need to, because this shit is wild.
I know. I hear it's very fucking good. I definitely need to.
I really want to catch up, but I feel like it might ruin the podcast in 4 years when we get to where
in 4 years.
Can I just say this about the current One Piece where we're at now? I'm really hoping for a new crew member, because there's some really cool characters in play in the current Wano arc, and I want some new crew members, because they're yeah, like I said, they got some really cool people. So
we could definitely talk about that later. I have theories on 3 new crew members, or
Well, you know,
technically 2 new crew members, but 3.
okay.
You know what I heard about the Wano arc is that when you read it, it makes you go, "What? No!"
Wow. Wow.
Now
Everybody
Thank
just
you.
if
Thank
you're
you.
still listening, I don't blame you for turning it off at this point.
yeah, just fucking turn it off.
Thank you for even getting this far.
But no,
isn't
dude.
this the Riffcast?
It's definitely the opposite reaction of that, Jesse. It's best One Piece.
Yeah, that's what I hear. It is best One Piece for sure. Even the stuff that I read, I already had thought this is the best arc in One Piece. Better than Marineford, which is pretty crazy, because Marineford is, oof, what a banger. What a banger. Oh my god, I can't wait to get to that shit. That's just going to be me going through the panels and being like, I'm not going to talk. I'm just going to show you the fights. And you could just appreciate the art, you know? All right.
Everybody be quiet. Be quiet, everybody.
All right, so chapter 63, the Kumite tribe defeated the Richie pirates pretty handedly, but they were really only fighting Richie. The Buggy pirates are pretty weak, and Kabaji and Mochi were already beaten up at this point.
That's a fair point.
Yeah, Don Krieg continues to berate Jin. He calls him a useless sack of crap and a useless idiot, which obviously again pisses off Luffy and Sanji. Sanji asks Carne to bring them some food poisoning antidote, which I don't think is actually going to do much. And Zeph makes the point that the gas mask must have some sort of antidote if breathed through. So they put a gas mask on Jin and they carry him inside the Baratie to try to rest.
Because that's how gas masks work.
Yeah, I didn't really get that. I guess maybe because it has some kind of filtration system so they can breathe. Maybe that's what he's taught. I don't really understand it, but that's where we're at.
And I do want to say that Jin laying there trying to speak with the mask on him is fucking disturbing. It's gross, man.
Right.
He's bleeding out of his body, bleeding out his whole thing.
Yeah, I mean, he got poisoned by a pretty lethal gas bomb. I'm even surprised he's not dead yet. I mean, he was breathing it in for a full 5 minutes, so...
Yeah.
So yeah. On page 9, Luffy again tries to charge over at Don Krieg, and same thing happens. Don Krieg uses bombs, creates a screen, shoots his spear bullets.
Awesome page.
Yeah, really cool page. Luffy gets hit in the stomach and the arm, but he continues to charge forward. And on page 12, we can see that Don Krieg has this, he calls it the Kenzin cape, this fucking spiked cape, the steel spiked cape. Really cool. So
where the fuck did this come from, though?
I don't know. Maybe I don't know. I was going to say he has a cape, but it's definitely not this big. And maybe this was like the inside of the cape that we didn't see, but I don't know. So a Kenzin, by the way, for anybody that doesn't know, is also called a spiky frog, is a specific device used in Japanese art or flower arrangement called ikebane, for fixing the I think I butchered that. For fixing the flowers in the container. It consists of a heavy lead plate with erected brass needles where the stipes are fixed. The name Kenzin literally means sword mountain.
Ah.
And if you guys Google what a Kenzin looks like, it looks like a grinder. So, but with much bigger spikes.
Oh my god, you're right, dude.
Right?
Wow.
But on page 13, Luffy doesn't give a fuck and uses his gun.
Fuck.
Dude, even his face. Look at his face on the top of page 13. Doesn't give a fuck. He punches right through this thing. And look at Don Krieg's face on page 13.
I have to say, I thought at first I had to reread this because I was like, how the fuck does this work? And on the 2 pages below that, Luffy pulls out the spear out of his shoulder. But at first, when I read this, I was like, oh, okay, he smacked him with the spear that was shot at him. But no, he just punched him.
Literally punched him through the Kenzin cape. Really fucking cool. Again, just want to reiterate how much I really like Don Krieg and this fight, because not only, again, to reiterate, Don Krieg using all of these advantages against Luffy, but Luffy being able to overcome the very obvious disadvantage of spiked and bladed weapons, and as Evan pointed out, also the ocean. Very cool.
Yeah, it's awesome.
Dope as hell.
Yeah.
Definitely the best fight so far, and I don't think I mentioned this last time. This is like one of the only parts of One Piece I ever saw on TV as a kid, and I remember thinking it was like really badass. So it was like this fight for sure.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I want to just point out, me, Kyle, and Rob always talk about this, and we all agree. If you're reading One Piece and you get to Baratie and you read all of Baratie and you aren't enjoying One Piece, stop reading One Piece. You're not going to like everything else that comes after. This,
You think?
yes, I think this. You're about 70 chapters in after you finish this. If you aren't enjoying what you're reading at that point, and the Baratie being, in my opinion, like for an old arc before they get into the Grand Line, I would put Baratie pretty high on my list as an arc. If you don't like this, chances are you're not going to like a lot of One Piece. It definitely, in my opinion, gets a lot better because stuff gets a lot cooler and more story, and the world builds a lot more. But this is
dude, we haven't even we've only seen one other devil fruit user at this point.
right. But the world at this point, we start getting some really cool characters. World building starts happening a bit more. We get introduced to Mihawk. So if none of that excited you, just stop. Just stop reading.
Yeah. No, that's a totally fair point, honestly. And everybody, the main thing, one of the biggest memes online is oh, watch One Piece, and nobody ever does because it's so long.
Right.
You shouldn't read or consume media that you're not liking just because everybody tells you to.
Right. Also, if you want to read One Piece or watch it, don't let the number fool you. Think about how much manga and anime that you really enjoy, and then you finish that manga or anime and you're like, fuck, I wish there was more. That's One Piece. That is One Piece.
I get you. Think about how many times you've rewatched The Office.
Oh my god, Jesse.
Instead, it could have just been if there was 50 seasons of The Office.
I think some people might tell you. I think some people might even tell you the opposite. I wish they stopped The Office season or two earlier.
Jesse,
not me. I enjoyed it all the way through, but some people might.
Jesse, I gotta say, you're lowballing yourself with the number 50 seasons of The Office. You definitely watched more than 50 seasons.
They actually just added the extended season 1, so that's nice. Some of the episodes are 40 minutes, so that's pretty awesome.
That's wild.
Oh yeah, yeah. You texted me about that last night.
Yeah,
at
1 in the morning, I think.
yeah. This man texted me at 12:01, and he says, "quote New Office Supercut episodes came out today for season 1, and there's a new scene of Jim and Pam playing Snood."
Oh my god, Jesse.
What the fuck is Snood?
Yeah, dude. Snood was that game on Mrs. Rogers' fucking computer. That's why I texted you about it.
Okay. I was because I was what the fuck? I was actually half asleep. But I saw that, I was like, Nani the fuck?
Oh my god.
Anyway, sorry for the retelling.
That's okay. So I'm gonna page 16. I was gonna write a bunch of notes for, but I'm just gonna read through it because I think it's really cool. So Luffy says, Now is this place really my grave or your grave? Mine or yours? Which is it? But don't you dare decide that question just by these measly spears or your stupid spiky cape. This ain't the place for me to die. I just thought that was really cool. Luffy doesn't really do the whole rhetorical question thing ever. So yeah. I really liked it. I just thought it was cool. And it's also badass that his hand is covered in holes and he's holding a spear that he just ripped out of his arm.
Yeah, those holes look fucking brutal.
Fucking awesome.
So yeah, then we go to page 17, which has a really stupid exchange between Patty and Carney. I always say Carney, but I know Spanish at this point, and I know the word is carne. I don't fucking know why I keep saying Carney. But they're hanging out with Jin, and he's fucking coughing up and dying, and Patty's trying to offer him some of the restaurant's special pudding, which I thought was pretty funny. So Sanji calls Luffy reckless, but Zeph, tells him to pay attention because every now and then there are idiots like Luffy who fight to the death for a goal, and those guys are the worst enemy you can face. Which I again thought was really cool because Zeph obviously recognizes Luffy for being a great pirate even this early into One Piece.
And Zeph's a Grand Line pirate too.
Right, so Zeph knows. Dude, it would be really cool if we got more of a little bit, just like what he did in the Grand Line. Why did he leave the Grand Line,
He probably saw some hockey user and was like, "Fuck this shit, I'm out."
On page 19, Don Krieg gets up and slams Luffy with a shield. But on page 20, Luffy is able to counter with this toe kick to his face.
Yeah. This is like trying to make a cool comeback and then just immediatly getting owned again.
Yeah.
Damn, Don Krieg, you got the whole ship laughing. All right, chapter 64. I like that this chapter starts off with Don Krieg getting fucking kicked in the face. Right on page 2. But yeah, everybody's pretty shocked that Luffy's able to beat up Don Krieg so easily. And Krieg unveils his most powerful weapon, the Great War Spear. Bad name, but really cool weapon in my opinion.
Yeah, it's super badass. At first, I was like, "How did he get 2 shields?" And then it's like, "Oh, it's his fucking shoulder pads."
Yeah, it's his shoulder pads. So yeah, he puts his shoulder pads together, and they make this spear that not only is a spear, but the bulbous area, the shield area of it, creates an explosion on contact. And Krieg even says, you know, the stronger the impact, the bigger the explosion. So
yeah, it's fucking awesome.
Yeah.
And also, don't they say it's like it weighs 1 ton or something
Yeah.
like that?
Yes.
It weighs a fucking ton, literally.
Literally a ton. Yes.
Jesse, you got to play Bloodborne. There's a weapon just like this.
Yeah, Google Bloodborne Boomhammer if you're not familiar. Very cool weapon. It's a DLC weapon though.
Yeah.
So yeah, so Don Krieg continues his offensive, and Luffy can't really do much. He's just dodging a lot. And on page 11, we get this pretty cool page of Don Krieg taking this big swing at Luffy. But Luffy is able to dodge this swing by grabbing onto the pole part of the spear. And Don Krieg against... Go ahead.
He really is like a monkey.
He literally... his name is Monkey D. Luffy, so...
Yeah. But
yeah, there's a good amount of like monkey talk in these chapters. Like,
yes.
Krieg keeps calling him a monkey and stuff, and he's like, ooh, and shit. It's like, all right.
Yes, he's certainly living up to his name, that's for sure.
But also, yeah, when he like latches onto the spear here, that reminded me of like a Kid Goku moment.
Oh yeah,
like the bear with the mohawk, everybody's favorite villain. You know, he's
so Don Krieg slams down the spear, creating another explosion that Luffy has to dodge, and continues his offensive. And on page 14, we get this really cool panel of Don Krieg trying to hit Luffy in the stomach, and Luffy actually blocks the attack by using his fists and punching the spear.
Dude, that was making me a little anxious, that shot. I was like, yeah.
And we find out that Luffy actually was targeting the spear tip the entire time and hit it a bunch of times. He did take 2 blasts of the like head on. We see on like page 15 is one of them. But he actually destroys the spear tip and he actually, again, gotta give it to Luffy using his noodle here. Baited Don Krieg into blowing up the shipwreckage and then create a field that's a bit more fair for Luffy to fight on, that we could see at the end of this chapter here.
Dude, very fucking big brain, galactic brain shit, Luffy.
Right, because
uncharacteristically intelligent of Luffy.
Right. Luffy has his moments. He definitely gets a bit. I mean, I would say he's portrayed early on as a bit of a dummy, like the typical anime main character dummy. But yeah, he's got his moments. You know, he's like Goku. He's got his moments.
Uh-huh.
So, before we move on
Shut
to
up,
the
Jesse.
next chapter.
Too late. I've already loaded the next chapter.
Yeah,
I
dude,
wanted to
you're
bring
done.
up at the end there. You guys see how they have the Q&A from Oda?
Yeah.
So the first question, it goes, salutations. I am an Earthlian who lived in the same house that Usopp's father's friend's brother's girlfriend lived in a long time ago. Is that a fucking Spaceballs reference?
Oh, Evan,
I know.
I like Spaceballs, but I would not be able to answer that. I don't know.
Yeah, 'cause
Yeah, you mean like the whole like I'm your father's brother's roommate
Yeah.
or whatever, right?
Uncle's friend's sister's roommate. Yeah.
Right.
I can't help but think
Yeah, that's a
that was
reference.
Spaceballs reference. And anytime I can bring up Spaceballs in a conversation, I will. So, yeah, there's a little shout out to Spaceballs there, friend of the show.
Yep. Barf, big fan of his work.
Also, we get in this Q&A confirmation from Oda himself that Luffy's penis can stretch too.
Every part of a devil fruit user is affected. Yes, any part of Luffy can stretch. We actually had this
Well, of
conversation
course.
in Discord a couple weeks ago.
Well, of course, it's obvious that it does, but if this is direct confirmation, like the question is, since he's a rubber human, does that mean his penis can stretch too? And the answer is literally just his penis can stretch too. So,
Good on
this
Oda
is
for
designed
standing
for
by his
children.
convictions.
Yeah.
Yeah, don't let it fool you. One Piece is mature audiences only. Sorry, kiddies.
No wonder he's so fucking popular with the ladies, man.
Oh yeah. Also,
Speaking of ladies,
when I was looking into the Okama stuff, I was reading a bunch of things about how Luffy is like gender fluid as well because he's never shown interest in women.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, right.
Not a single fucking. He's very much like Goku in that respect too.
Oh,
He's completely-
Goku's got 3 kids.
Goku fucks.
Yeah,
dude.
Goku
But-
Max, bro. What are you talking
You
about?
guys,
He doesn't kiss though.
yeah,
That's-
He's a
Okay,
selfish
okay.
lover. He's a selfish lover.
that scene was like one of the only good things to ever happen in Dragon Ball Super, where Vegeta's like, "You have 3 children. You don't know what a kiss is."
Oh my gosh, that's actually fucking funny.
Yeah, I'll send the link to you in the chat later.
Yeah. So yeah, chapter 65 again, continuing with the Buggy adventure. We actually get to see Buggy and Alvida. I like Buggy's binoculars here. They're like clown binoculars or jester binoculars.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And he spots his ship, which just a recap is called the Big Top, which is also the name of one of my favorite Animal Crossing villagers, Big Top.
All right.
He's a elephant.
Yes,
He's
of
a part
course.
of the Power Ranger group of Animal Crossing villagers.
I think we did mention him when we were on the Buggy Arc. Because I like Big Top as well.
Yeah, I like Big Top a lot. He was like one of the first villagers I had in Animal Crossing New Horizons, and I had him in New Leaf. So yeah, so Luffy, again has destroyed the spear tip, and that reduces Don Krieg's weapon to pretty much a bomb on a stick, which still seems pretty strong. I feel like we got rid of the sharp part of it, but the bomb part of it seems like it's still pretty dangerous. And Don Krieg points out that Luffy already took 2 blasts and he's covered in blood and he's probably on the verge of collapse. And they also kind of hinted at that with the chefs. They said, he's lost a lot of blood. I'm surprised he's still standing at this point. And Zeph gives us the only advice you need in order to beat Sekiro: Shadows Die Twice. Hesitation is defeat. The only advice you need. They say that so much through these. I was like, holy fuck. Did Sekiro just steal this from Oda? What the fuck? So yeah, Don Krieg launches a blast at Luffy. And Luffy is able to dodge up the mast of this ship. And on page 8, I'm just going to go over what's going on here because I didn't feel like writing it all. But Luffy, he destroys the mast. Luffy grabs a smaller piece of the mast, and the middle panel, really cool. The mast starts falling onto Don, and he does this nonchalant swipe of his weapon, which completely destroys the mast, and obviously doesn't hit him. So Luffy goes to launch this smaller mast at him, and Don Krieg whips out a fucking flamethrower.
Just a fucking flamethrower, man.
He's got so much weaponry. It's crazy. And then on page 10, Luffy uses his Gumu Gumu Gatling gun, which is one of my favorite of his moves.
Looks
it's
cool.
best move.
Right. I would say that's one of his most iconic moves. Very cool move. And Don Krieg, he's wearing this armor, and he says, doesn't matter how many times a monkey like you punches me, even if it's 100 punches, you're never gonna break through my armor. But on page 14, we see this is another thing that I didn't feel like writing. So on page 14, Don Krieg jumps up on top of this broken mast, and once again does the typical move. He drops this time a shit ton of them, a shit ton of these little bombs onto Luffy, in order to try to force him into the ocean. And Luffy dodges the bombs, which Don Krieg says, I expected you to dodge and run up at me. And Don Krieg hits him with his spear again, but Luffy kind of just eats the attack, and on page 18 hits Don with another pretty iconic move, the Gumu Gumu Bazooka, and we get a really cool full panel of that, of him like breaking through Don's armor, and sends him flying a bit.
The double bazooka, double panel, baby.
Yeah, very cool stuff. So that takes us to the end of that chapter. Chapter 66. Buggy and Alvida find their crew, or Buggy's crew, has been, pretty much defeated by the. They're not sure what defeated them, but we know the Kumate tribe just wiped them out. So yeah, page 2 of chapter 66 is another really cool panel of Don falling out of the sky with his armor breaking all around him. I was about to read the wrong thing. Everyone thinks, Don Krieg's defeated, but as he's falling, he throws out a net and catches Luffy, and, he wants to drag him into the water with him. And page 6, Sanji, finally realizes that hesitation is defeat. And Luffy, corkscrews his legs and stretches them out and grabs Don with them, and winds up for a Gumu Gumu no sledgehammer attack. But Don, calls out to his crew, fucking help me, and they all whip out these crossbows.
Yeah, they all just pop out of the ocean.
Right, with these fucking crossbows that they've had apparently the entire time.
With the gas masks.
Right, with the gas masks that are no longer they're wearing anymore. But Sanji, kicks a couple of the crossbows away and hits some of the pirates, which stops them from shooting. And on page 9 and 10, we finally get to see Luffy defeat Don Krieg with this like corkscrew sledgehammer attack. And page 10 is like a nice big full panel of it. It's pretty cool.
Pretty goofy.
Pretty goofy?
Yeah, it's a pretty goofy move. He looks like a fucking, I don't know, like a dolphin.
Oh, yeah, I guess because he's like wrapped up in this net. Yeah. I was actually going to point out that this was a really, really drawn very cool. Just like the angle, like where the angle, the curvature of everything. This is like a really nice panel.
Yeah, he really captures the momentum when he drew this.
Right.
I also wanted to shout out on page 8 when Sanji is standing on these dudes' faces. I wrote in my notes that he would be a great hardcore vocalist frontman.
Nice.
So this finally defeats, Don Krieg, and Zeph tells Sanji that, Luffy falls into the water, still inside the net, and Zeph tells Sanji that he has to go save Luffy because devil fruit users are hammers in the water. And on page 14, Zeph also recognizes the straw hat, gives it a little bit of a, after seeing
Do you
it.
think that's what that is?
Yeah, I would say the bottom right panel. I would say
Yeah.
that's Zeph looking at the straw hat, right?
Huh. Yeah, I didn't even pick up on that, to be honest with you.
Right. I mean, I would assume Shanks is a pretty well-known pirate, so I would assume Redleg Zeph probably knows who he is.
Red-leg Zeph and red-haired Shanks.
Wow. You think they were
Wow.
on the same crew?
Could you imagine if we hear that Zeph is on the same crew as Roger?
That'd be really cool. Yeah. So Don Krieg at the end of this chapter stands back up. He's clearly unconscious and just kind of going berserk. But Jin walks up to him on page 18 and gut punches him and finally, puts him out of commission and says, we're gonna retreat for now.
Yeah, at first I thought he stabbed him and like killed him, but then I was like, oh no, he just punched him.
Yeah, he just punched him. So yeah, chapter 67. Again, the Kuma we find. This is where I was going to talk about the cannibalism and Kuma and all that. But yeah, that's supposed to be 3 heads sticking out of a boiling pot. That's what the logo is supposed to be. Besides being a bear.
Okay, I get it.
See what I'm saying now?
Still.
Makes a little bit
Yeah,
more sense, right? But
It makes sense. But
I mean,
still
I
a little
got it,
weird.
but it's still ridiculously
yeah,
hilarious.
yeah, absolutely. Also, again,
like that-
you can see they all have this like distinct dark nose. All of them have it, which is why I don't think Kuma is from here. But it's
I'm a really
possible.
big-
I would assume Kuma's from East Blue because he knows dragon, but who knows?
Maybe.
They all also have their own version of a mullet or something.
Yeah, they have
Pretty
this.
pretty hilarious.
Yeah, this pretty weird hairdo.
I'm a really big fan of the one pirate that's to the left of Richie, screaming out like that.
With his elephant
Blonde
hat.
one. Yeah, yeah. I don't know why. This is really funny to me.
Why would they eat Richie?
They just eat meat, I guess. I don't know. He's
Dude.
he's an animal.
Meat is meat is meat.
Right. To them, meat is meat because they're even eating humans, right? So, yeah, chapter 67. Before leaving, Jin asks Sanji to give Luffy a message for when he wakes up, and he says, "Let's meet again on the Grand Line. Boys, this is why I think they will come back. I think Don Krieg didn't die. Jin didn't die on screen, even though he's poisoned, and presumably even says, like, I may only have a few hours left. I think they will come back. Now, here's my question for you. If they come back, will they come back as enemies, or will they come back as allies? What do you guys think?
I mean,
Enemies.
Jin would come back as an ally, no doubt. Don Krieg, I don't know. I think he would probably be an enemy.
Yeah, I feel like Krieg is just too bad of a guy, you know?
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I feel like they're so strong. Like, even though it's just the beginning of the story in the grand scheme of things, like, they're still legitimately strong. Like, that fucking weapon being over a ton is
Right.
so ridiculous.
I mean,
You know,
he even lifted a smaller vessel. That big, it wasn't even small. It was much bigger than him. Don Krieg lifted that fish cannon vessel out of the ocean and threw it almost into the Baratie.
Right. And then Sanji
Kicked it away. Right. So yeah, I just thought that was interesting. And again, he says, "Let's meet on the Grand Line." I feel like
What do you imagine Krieg being an ally?
I kind of do, actually.
All right.
Just because of Jin. But I don't know. It could definitely go either way. I feel like he would be an ally in the same sense that Crocodile is an ally at a certain point.
I
Okay.
gotcha.
Maybe not
Okay.
out of wanting to be an ally, but maybe out of necessity.
Yeah, like circumstances it makes sense for them to be on the same side rather than opposite sides for a little bit at least.
Right. So I thought that was interesting. And I do hope that we do see them again as Grand Line pirates.
Me too.
So yeah, Jin, starts coughing up a lot of blood, and again, says he may only have a few hours left to live, but he's done using Don's name as a shield, and that, as long as you're prepared, things like being scared of your enemies or getting hurt are nothing but useless worrying, and Luffy taught him that. So Sanji says, Sanji lets Jin take a boat that he's used to go out and buy supplies, and he gets he lets them use that to leave. On page 7, Luffy finally wakes up, and I love these gigantic fucking bandages like on his head and his shoulder.
Yeah, he pulls it off. He's like, I don't need it.
yeah. Even like on page 8, you can see just like how fucking comically oversized these fucking bandages are. And also on page 8, I fucking love how stuffed this little fucking boat is. Even all the pirates are like, we're sinking.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
I love when Luffy wakes up, though. He immediately just goes, my hat!
Yeah.
Sanji's like, it's right there, dude. Calm down.
Yeah. So yeah, on page 10, Luffy, asks Sanji again to join him. And Sanji says, no, I'm going to stay here and be a cook until the day that Zeph recognizes him. And Luffy on the bottom says, I'll give up. But he's like grabbing his fucking collar and like pulling him towards him. The Sanji, then asks Luffy if he knows about All Blue. And we had this, they don't actually show us a conversation, but they have a conversation about it. And Zeph sees how happy, Sanji is talking with Luffy about All Blue.
I love this shot from the top of Zeph's hat on page 12, like looking down.
Yeah.
That is amazing.
That's great.
Dude, I didn't even catch that.
So Sanji and Luffy head downstairs to the restaurant where all the chefs are now eating, and the rest of the chefs don't leave them any chairs or a spot at a table. Patty then disrespects Sanji by telling him that the soup he made is crap, and Sanji tries to defend himself, but all the other chefs, including Zeph, also say that the soup is crap. Sanji storms off, and Zeph asks Luffy, to take the little eggplant with him. I always thought it was cute that Zeph had been calling Sanji a little eggplant ever since he was like a little kid. To take him with you because it's his dream. And Sanji, who is right outside the restaurant, overhears that conversation and all the other chefs, pretending to hate the soup.
You know what this kind of reminded me of?
What's that?
In One Piece itself. I'm not going to say too much, but it was at the end of a very long arc, and all the people are running to the docks, like, "Oh, we hate you! Get off our island!" You remember that, Adam?
Yes.
That part reminded me.
Yeah, absolutely.
Smaller, but
absolutely.
Dude, is Oda ripping off Oda?
Bro, Oda's been ripping off Oda since like the 90s. So chapter 68, this is going to be our last chapter. It's also the end of the Baratie arc. Which sucks only because I was hoping they'd wrap up the Buggy story, but we're going to get more of the Buggy story.
Yeah.
And the last thing we see of the Buggy story is they untied all of these strange body parts.
Yeah, where the fuck
throw those in the pot?
I didn't even realize that the Buggy Pirates had his body parts.
Yes, they had his body parts. They showed it, I don't know, probably 15 volumes ago.
Yeah.
Like right after Buggy was sent flying by that bird that was trying to eat him, they like panned back to his crew and they like show that they had his body parts on their ship. So yeah, chapter 68, Luffy says he doesn't want to take Sanji only because Sanji wants to stay there and be a cook. On page 4, we see Sanji sitting outside the Baratie when something looks like a shark jumps out of the ocean. And on page 5, we see that it lands right in front, or actually on top of Sanji, pretty much. This shark that has Yosaku in his mouth, and the chefs think it's a weird merman or something, or a fishman, and they even reference Fishman Island here. Pretty crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
So go ahead.
I want to say I really like on page 4 the I'm guessing those are the what's coming out of Yosaku's mouth. Those. I'm assuming that's what that is.
Yeah, that's what I would
funny.
guess. I'm sure the shark isn't making that noise. Or maybe the shark is making that noise because he's got Yosaku in his mouth.
Yeah. This was so random.
Yeah, it was so weird and so not explained. Why is Yosaku in a shark's mouth?
I don't know. Maybe it's a good way to get around.
I feel like it does come up, like as a way to get around, like legitimately. I feel like it's mentioned somewhere again, maybe in Arlong Park or
It's possible.
or much later. I don't know, but that it is like kind of ringing a bell because I've read this earlier stuff much more recently than you guys. I don't know. I have a feeling it is explained.
I hope so. I would love an explanation for it because it doesn't make sense.
Yeah.
So Yosaku, talks to Luffy and tells him we know where from the way that where Nami was headed. We're pretty sure we know where she's going, and it's a very dangerous place. And
yeah, and it's definitely not whatever I just mentioned is Arlong Park.
Right, whatever that means. I don't even know what that means. So yeah, even though I've already spoiled like a shit ton of things throughout this episode.
I have to. You're not
Yeah.
alone. So
It's kind of hard not
Yeah,
to.
I'm sorry, guys. Luffy is Gold Roger's brother.
Yeah,
What do you want me to say?
Unfortunately, Jesse ruined that for even myself. I had no idea, so
You gotta catch up, man.
gotta catch up. Gotta read that Wano. So he says that they're heading towards a dangerous place, and Luffy needs to come right away. Sanji, listening to this conversation, also says that he's gonna go. And he says, I'll accompany you on your way to becoming the Pirate King. After all, we both have crazy dreams, so I'll tag along to fulfill mine. Sanji ends up. Go ahead.
Oh no, I was just gonna say I like how he's like sound good or bad. Sounds great.
So yeah, Sanji ends up telling everybody that he overheard them, and Zeph lying about the soup, and says, and Zeph lies and says, "Not a day went by that I didn't regret saving you." Obviously a lie. And they're just like trying to make Sanji feel like he wasn't wanted here, so he would leave, which obviously was a pretty bad lie since Sanji saw through it kind of by overhearing it. We then get a couple of flashbacks of Zeph and Sanji first getting the Baratie, Patty and Carne showing up for a job as cooks on the Baratie, and a bunch of other things like like random group of pirates attacking the Baratie, just like memories that Sanji has of growing up on this ship.
Yeah, it's interlaced with shots of him having one last cigarette in the dining room, and like there's some shots of Zeph chilling on his bed, and there's like this whole voiceover thing from Zeph talking about nobody's too evil to feed, pretty much.
Right, exactly.
That shit's great.
Yeah, where Zeph, that's where Sanji gets that mentality from. That which. I might I kind of want to say this now. Sanji kind of goes against that policy, I feel like, when we get later into it, because he's like, I don't give a fuck about you guys. I'm only here to feed the women. Fuck you guys.
Well, it's because his character kind of becomes Flanderized,
I know. They make him into such a simp. Oh, God.
Like, you would think he would be a playboy from this arc, but
he
turns into like something else.
That's what he was portrayed. I thought he was like this suave, like he was supposed to be like a French cook,
Nah,
Hey,
he's more like James from Team Rocket.
yeah.
Or no, I'm sorry, not James. It's from fucking Brock from
Oh,
Pokemon.
yeah. Yes, absolutely. Where he's in love with every fucking girl and is kind
And
of
can never get it. He
yeah.
can never pull through though.
Yeah, the one time that he can, it seems like a ruse, even though it's kind of not. We will get to that in like 3 years, maybe. So yeah, so the flashbacks end, and the chefs are all lined up as Sanji walks over to this boat where Luffy and Yosaku are waiting for him. And as he's trying to leave, Patty and Carne try to attack Sanji and get absolutely dumpstered by him. They don't even show it happening; it just happens so fast.
All right, a few things I want to point out real quick. These two, at first I was like, what are these giant ice cream scoops that they're about to hit them with? Then I was like, no, of course not. They're just spoons, right?
Yeah.
To go along with these giant forks and knives, I suppose.
Yep.
But then I was actually like, maybe they're just like big woks or whatever. But I don't know. Maybe they're big spoons. But also,
They're long-handled woks.
yeah,
Not a bad idea.
You got to stand across the kitchen sometimes. But I don't know if we've mentioned this like last episode, but I feel like Carne's forearms actually look like big grilled steaks almost.
No, that's Patty.
Okay.
I was thinking the same thing, but
Yeah.
I didn't want to say it just in case I sounded crazy.
I feel like they were trying to make him like a Popeye kind of character.
Right.
His
Yeah.
fucking forearms like that.
Yeah, look at that.
So yeah. On page 17, Zeph shows up and says his goodbye and tells Sanji. Or I'm sorry, before page 17, Zeph shows up, tells Sanji not to catch a cold. And on page 17, we get a very iconic shot of Sanji, being very grateful and telling him that he's never gonna forget everything that Zeph did for him and the debt that he owes him. And this obviously brings everybody else to tears, even Zeph. And on page, I don't know why I wrote 20, page 19, Sanji even says, "Let's meet up again one day, you good-for-nothing bastards," right before they set sail.
Really sweet. Really,
Yeah.
really sweet, man.
And
I love that.
I even like Zeph's answer, "Damn idiots, men should never say their goodbyes silent, or men should say their goodbyes silently."
I love how all it took to break Sanji was don't catch a cold.
Yeah,
And
that's what it
immediately
was.
just snaps.
That's
It was just and he could have said anything to him, and he would have.
Yeah.
Broken down.
Yeah.
But yeah, that was the Baratie arc.
Yeah.
Again, one of my top arcs. Again, for a beginning arc where we don't have a lot of meat and potatoes. Really fucking solid arc.
I would say Baratie plus.
Wow. Someone get this guy the fuck out of here, please. So yeah, what did you guys think of that arc? How did we feel about that? Enjoying it? Hated it?
You go first, Jess.
Definitely the best arc so far. Let me be the first one to ever say that.
Wow.
Best arc so far. And no, like you were saying before about, if you're at this point in One Piece and you don't like it, then like you don't like the series or whatever. When I first read this is when I was like, yo, this series is gonna be fucking great. So like I do get what you're saying there. It was a great to read through again. And the next arc though, that's real good. So excited for that too.
Oh yeah. I would say
One
Oh, go ahead.
yeah, just one more thing I wanted to say. Like, we see Sanji fight a little bit, but actually not that much, I don't think, in this arc. So, like, we've still got to see his badassery still come out. So
Right. I think Arlong Park does a really good job of showing off crew battle, where we get every fighter on the crew getting matched up with a different fighter from another crew.
yeah, because this whole time we didn't even have Usopp and Zoro, so
yeah,
been
exactly.
Nami, so
I mean, we technically had Zoro at the beginning,
yeah,
but yeah, no,
not this episode though.
this is like when I think of like the original crew, this is where I cut off. Like not Chopper. I don't even count him as a part of, like this is the original crew right here. Sanji,
Yeah.
Luffy, Usopp, Zoro, and Nami.
Yeah, no, you're right there.
So we finally have our original crew. Very excited to go forward. Arlong Park is what we're going to be covering next. Definitely a great arc. Another really good early arc. I think there's some stinker early arcs, guys. I'm gonna admit it. I think there's some stinkers. I'm not a big fan of Usopp arc.
Yeah, exactly.
I gotta be honest with you. After reading Sky P and Alabasta like 20 times, kind of not a big fan of those arcs. I'm sure I will like them as we go through it again because I usually skip those arcs.
Well, yeah, we'll be reading them slower too. So
Right.
we'll be able to digest it a little bit.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
But yeah, again, Arlong Park. I would put Arlong Park and Baratie decent. At least Baratie. I gotta read through Arlong Park again. But I would definitely put Baratie high up on my list of arcs.
Fuck yeah.
Evan, how do you feel?
Dude, this has been some of the coolest action we've seen so far. And I mean, the emotions of like Sanji and like his backstory are awesome. I love Zeph. I love Sanji. But yeah, I can't wait to get into Arlong Park though. Like I since we started this series, I've been excited to get back into this for sure. This next arc coming up, I mean. But yeah, I love this shit. It was so much fun to read. And thank you for dragging us through it, Adam.
Absolutely. I'm glad you guys are enjoying it. I know me and Evan have read all of One Piece for the most part, and Jesse's read a good chunk, but it's always nice going through it again. Obviously one of my favorite manga / anime of all time, so it's just nice being able to share that with everybody else as well.
Hell yeah.
But what are we doing next week, boys? What are we covering?
I think it's going to be Rooster Fighter Chapter 3.
Okay. That'll be a nice short one for everybody.
We can do that.
Are we riffing next week, or are we doing Kingdom again?
Let's play it by ear. Let's talk to Hawkman sometime, and but I mean, I would like to, I mean, maybe do both, honestly.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter to me.
I would love to get into Kingdom just because we're starting the best arc in Kingdom, in my opinion.
Yeah, and I was just gonna say that's the thing too. Like, this is the best shit that we're gonna get for Kingdom.
Right.
So we probably should get into it. I really want to hear what Jesse has to say about it because I know you know what happened.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. I am very excited to get that view from a first time reader.
And to be completely honest, I forget exactly what chapter we landed off on. So we'll probably do like the next 12 to 14 chapters of that.
Awesome.
So yeah.
All right. Well, that's Jesse. You have anything to add before I close this out here?
5 out of 10 arc.
Wow. I am kicking this guy out of the Discord.
Yeah, he's just mad that we weren't a fan of Lon Fon's armpit.
I kicked him out.
Oh my god. Spicy bastard.
That's going to do it for us. Oh my god, I hope he joins back. That's going to do it from us. We are the Mangaki no Tsukai boys. Thank you for sticking around. Check out our Twitter at Mangaki Pod, and everybody have yourselves a great night, day, afternoon, wherever you are, whatever time it is. Goodbye.
Bye now.
Take care.